So today, I would personally say we have the most exciting Nintendo Switch 2 or next-gen Nintendo console update to talk about that we've seen so far since reporting on all of the rumors and leaks going on with this console. Some people are burnt out since the Switch Pro days, and I don't blame you if you're one of those people. This is not official information from Nintendo, but this is official information from journalists with some of the most reputable names in the industry that we are talking about here, such as Tom Phillips over at Eurogamer and Andy Robinson over at VGC. And if you have to go back in history and look at their track record, look at the NX days and some of the reports and things that they were talking about then, both of these websites and publications have a history with leaking accurate information ahead of Nintendo officially confirming anything. However, until it's officially confirmed, don't go setting all of your hopes, dreams, and expectations around all of this stuff being accurate in the final shipped product. But if you just use a logical approach to where we are at in the Nintendo Switch's life cycle, it only stands to reason that yes, dev kits are out there right now. Nintendo is absolutely talking to first and third party developers alike around the capabilities of this system, and it seems that it was indeed shown off at Gamescom 2023 behind closed doors. We had talked about this rumor floating around before, but with much less credible names in the loop, and now we have some of the biggest names out there backing this up, but really going into detail on what was actually shown in terms of Nintendo Switch hardware and why this could be a game changer for what to expect in terms of the quality of titles and the third-party library support, which is the real big thing I want to dive into with this video. If these reports are true, there is not a whole lot of reason to expect that most of the modern day third-party games could run effectively on next generation Nintendo hardware, which would be quite a statement to say because we know that Nintendo has kind of been doing their own thing in terms of power ever since the GameCube generation, as that was the last console that really went head-to-head with the other guys, and by no means will the Switch 2 go head-to-head with the PS5 and Series X in raw power, but it does sound like with some AI technology that Nintendo could get very close. And to first get on the same page with all of the details and what's being claimed here, let's quickly hop over to VGC and read through their detailed typed up article together. Sources: Nintendo showed Switch 2 demos at Gamescom. The company is understood to have held private tech demos ahead of an expected 2024 launch. That's according to a new report from Eurogamer, which VGC can corroborate via our own sources. According to the publication, Nintendo privately showed invited developers specifically prepared tech demos for its next generation games console, which could launch next year. One Switch 2 demo is understood to have been an improved version of the Switch launch title Zelda Breath of the Wild, running at a higher frame rate and resolution than the original game did on hardware targeting the new console specs, but there was no suggestion the game would actually be re-released. Another VGC source claimed that Nintendo showcased Epic's impressive The Matrix Awakening Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, originally released to showcase the power of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X in 2021, running on target specs for its next console. The demo is said to have been running using NVIDIA's DLSS upscaling technology with advanced ray tracing enabled and visuals comparable to Sony's and Microsoft's current gen consoles. However, it should be noted that this does not mean the Switch successor will sport raw power anywhere near that of a PS5 or Xbox Series X, which aren't portable devices. DLSS, Deep Learning Super Sampling, is a feature exclusive to NVIDIA's graphics cards. On PC, it works by using AI to upscale the resolution of games, effectively allowing developers to achieve higher graphical settings and better frame rates on weaker hardware. According to Digital Foundry analysis, DLSS at any normal screen distance looks almost as good as the real thing. Notably, Nintendo filed patents for potential AI upscaling technology plans back in March of 2020. Now, there's obviously a ton of information to unpack there, but the first part we have to dive into is just the raw power of this console, because I think that's where a lot of people will get hung up. They'll see the headlines and claims like somehow this is close to the performance of a PS5 and Series X and immediately dismiss this as something that's just not possible with modern hardware. But two things you have to keep in mind since we saw the original Switch launch back in 2017 is that Nintendo has been working hand in hand with NVIDIA this entire time on likely developing the T239 or whatever the actual chipset that is running this thing specifically for this hybrid gaming system that we didn't know the Switch was going to be as successful as it was. Now that it is a proven beast of a seller, I think that there's a lot on the table for Nintendo and Nvidia, and they know it, and they're likely developing a chipset that's really designed to efficiently run games as close to the modern gen console standards as possible. And you've seen all of the changes in technology recently with AI and things exploding and moving around online faster than ever. Well, clearly some of this technology is spilling over into the graphical chipset department as well, and Nvidia is the perfect company for Nintendo to be partnered with due to their DLSS upscaling tech. It's literally exactly what you would want in a hybrid form factor console like we know to expect the successor to the Switch to be. And assuming it is baked in at its core, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for these claims to be fully substantiated. We are talking about the potential for this Matrix Unreal 5 tech demo, which, to be fair, can run on the Steam Deck. It can even technically, I guess, run a version of it on the Switch because the Switch is compatible with Unreal Engine 5. But all of that said, the people are claiming that this thing looks impressive on Nintendo's next-gen console, and it would look impressive if you enabled things like ray tracing and DLSS and had a solid frame rate and resolution, and it sounds like that's what they achieved here on the console's target specs. That is a big deal. That means we could open the floodgates for games like Street Fighter 6, Elden Ring, which I would absolutely love to see make it to Nintendo's next-gen console, not to mention all the other missing Dark Souls games that just haven't gotten their ports yet. Like, it really truly opens the floodgates for any PS4/PS4 Pro level games that are being sold still cross-gen today for most of the titles, unless if Sony and Microsoft really just wanted to focus on next-gen hardware for a select few releases. Most of this console generation has been cross-gen up to this point in time, meaning Nintendo, for all of the big third-party games that you look around and see today, really could be in the conversation for those to make it over to the next generation hardware. And now that Nintendo is such a power player in the market in terms of their total units sold, I think third parties are actually going to be involved and on board this time, whereas with the Switch, nobody really knew what to expect because Nintendo was coming off of a massive commercial failure with the Wii U, and we've only slowly seen third-party developer support become more of a thing, and even a lot of devs reaching into their back catalogs like the Batman Arkham Trilogy that's set to launch on the Switch in October. Red Dead Redemption, another prime example. We're seeing a lot of those PS3, 360 era games and even some select PS4 era games make it over now because the developers and publishers realize the kind of money that's on the table for them and imagine what they could do with specs that are being claimed in this next generation dev kit that's being shown. Now, I'm seeing a lot of discourse online around the Breath of the Wild better version running on this hardware, and that's something that I honestly don't think we will necessarily see make it to market, but is likely more of a tech demo that Nintendo would show off. Could they just actually go back through and rework their first-party Switch games lineup to run better on upgraded hardware? Yes, in theory they could, but knowing Nintendo, I don't think anything like that would come for free, so maybe this thing doesn't have backwards compatibility and they resell us Breath of the Wild Deluxe with all of the DLC included, but I would be very surprised if we can just pop in our already owned Breath of the Wild cartridge today and see it run at a locked 60 frames per second and 4K resolution when docked. I don't know that exactly that's what I would expect here, but I am still team backwards compatibility because I think it makes more sense for Nintendo in this hybrid generation to do it than ever before. They have, if you've looked at their handhelds in the past. And I also think that a lot of the games at the end of the current generation Switch's life cycle are evergreen games such as Super Mario Bros. Wonder that Nintendo will want to roll forward into the next gen console sales. Now, this very last piece of information was actually mentioned from Tom Phillips over on Eurogamer, and interestingly, it wasn't in VGC's report, but there is some updated talk around the timing of when we may be able to expect this console. As you can see the following snippet from Eurogamer, which reads, "A recent report pinned Switch 2's arrival for the later part of next year, with development kits now in the hands of key partners." This chimed with what Eurogamer had also previously heard, though on timing, I understand Nintendo is keen to launch the system sooner if possible. So that doesn't mean it's coming out 2023 and to get ready for Nintendo to reveal this thing and we're going to see it right away. No, it doesn't at all. I definitely think Nintendo still gets through the current holiday timeline this year with Nintendo Switch and the lineup that we've seen so far, and likely some surprise games to come at an upcoming Nintendo Direct. But I think whenever we're talking about early 2024, anything is possible. Will we see them reveal it ahead of something like a February Nintendo Direct, and then we actually see all the games that they're going to be launching the system with at that Direct, and then we're talking about this thing launching in April, May, or even June. Could it launch in the first half of the year? It's possible, but also this very much sounds like Nintendo may do it if they can get the product sourced and the amount of console units shipped out to retailers as they want to see happen, because we do have direct comments from President Shintaro Furukawa around what they're doing to potentially mitigate a scalping situation with the next-gen successor to the Switch, and he basically tackled the question as we really just have to have enough supply before we decide to launch the thing, and I do think Nintendo will do that. So maybe it's coming sooner 2024, maybe it's coming in the later half of 2024, but either way, there is more and more reports from credible sources than ever that yes, the dev kits are out there, yes, Nintendo is now showing this thing behind closed doors to developers, and I personally think that the power claims on what this system may be capable are very exciting if you are a Nintendo Switch gamer and plan on getting Nintendo's next-gen offering. But I really want to hear from you guys at this point in the video, your personal thoughts and opinions on all of these reports and what you make of them. Do you think we're going to see a large lineup of different third-party games now be in the conversation for Nintendo Switch 2 following these reports? Are you personally impressed by anything that was claimed here, or are you kind of dismissing all of this until Nintendo officially confirms it themselves? So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch yesterday's video next if you haven't already, which is on screen right now. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.